Well, hey everybody, this is the third episode of the choke pull and making it easier. And I am pushing my foot down on the throttle to relieve the idle, the cam from being on the resisting the choke pull. And here's a one-handed choke pull. It's not tremendously, it's still a little bit tight, but it's not bad. I know you can't see it, but under the, let's see if you can see it. So if you look under here, I think the last of it has to do with there's a bend here as it goes around the heater. So there's a bit of a bend here, which I think pulls the cable tight right here. And then we'll go around and talk about what we found on the other side of things. If you watched my last video on the rebuilding the jet of the carburetor and addressing some of it there, you saw my struggle with it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and look at the geometry of the linkage of old photographs from the factory of how they shipped engines and the practical hints manual and the photos of it. And I'm going to look at the actual geometry of the linkage and see if I can't figure out how to make this choke pull just a little bit easier. If you appreciate this video, if you like it and subscribe, it encourages me to spend the time on the videos to rather than just do the project myself. I started these videos as a way to remind myself what I did because my memory is not all that great, but other people seem to enjoy them too. So here we go. Okay, for adjusting the linkage or setting up the linkage, let's look at this picture in the Practical Hints for the Maintenance of the Triumph TR3 on page 35. Let's just focus on the front carburetor first, and let's notice that the post seems to be sticking out quite a ways. So let's take a look at the way it is on the car. Itself. So if we have the and let's put a light on that. If we have the linkage here going between the two pieces here, we get that post sticking out quite a ways as it is. But if we look at the alignment there, we'll see that the wire, I don't know if you can see that, but the wire will go here and then bend out this way. It's not a straight pull. It's a pull. It's a pull with a component going this way and a component going this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to try it now in another position. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it out here like this. Now this is not the way it looks like it's in the Practical Hints manual, because see, that post isn't sticking out all that far anymore. But it does pull in. Let's see if I can get that light right there. It does pull the wire over, this wire this way over by the thickness of the shaft. The other thing that's interesting is it also brings brings where the cotter pin goes right here, right up against this clip. So I think that is the straightest pull from the wire going here to here. Now there is a possibility that this is bent, that this should be that this should be bent over like this to straighten out that pull. So that is another possibility, that I need to bend that back this way. But I think because the cotter pin sits right here, and this makes the least bend possible, it moves it the right way, I think that's the way I'm going to experiment with it first. Set up that way, we have quite an easy one-handed choke pull. Some people, that's all they do. All they do is use the choke on the front carb, and they report good results that way. So we're going to try it the other way and see if it makes any difference. So I've put it back on so that this linkage is centered between here and with the post sticking out far the way it is in the picture. And let's try it. Try the choke. No difference. That feels the same. Now that is a straighter pull. The alignment is straighter with it that way. But now the sheath here, I think, is pulling it over. It's hard to see in there, but the sheath is pulling it over. It's rubbing hard against this side of the sheath. There, you can see it there. It's pulling against the left side of the sheath. So I'm going to pull the sheath back. I'm going to pull the sheath back in the bracket, back this way in the bracket, see if I can get it out of that tight little bend there. Well, in attempting to adjust this cable, I discovered that this is stripped. So I'm going to go get one off a second carburetor I have. So you can see the bend in that linkage. There's no bend on my linkage from my other carburetor. So I'm going to bend it back. Okay, I straightened it pretty much. But as I was straightening it, I noticed, look at the oval of that hole. Look at the wear in that hole. So if you look at my the linkage on my old carb here, it looks like it's new linkage, and that's got a nice hole. I'm going to change that linkage out. I think that might be why it's binding on that front carburetor or rear carburetor. Now, with that link on the outside, I come back over on this side, and if I try to force this in the back, we have binding here. So that can't be in the back. If I put it in the middle, like that, we are clear. We're clear. But it seems to be straightest and happiest in the front, like that. So I'm going to try that. So I lost a piece of video. I apologize. But basically, I tried it every which way. The linkage in front, behind, centered on that linkage, and I discovered that by bending the sheet metal clamp that holds the choke cable sheath, and by getting rid of that bent linkage in the back, I could get those centered back on those levers pretty well. And so my advice to you is to just keep playing with it and look at the bend in the linkage, look at the bend in those sheet metal clamps that hold the cable sheath, and see if you can get it to straighten up. I finally got it straightened up and was happy with the result. So let's go ahead and close this video out. To reduce the stress on the choke, the tension on the choke pull, was we went ahead and we took each of these jets out. And I know they're in the way with the carburetor there, but we took each of the jets out and polished them and got them working smooth. Something I don't know is if I covered in the video. The last thing I did was I also packed them with Vaseline. I pulled the jet out and put Vaseline up in the hole, and that helped with that last little bit. Then what we did was we took a look at this cable, and I found that the cable, if the cable wasn't right to, the sheath wasn't right up here, you were fighting not getting all the leverage you could out of here. The next thing I did was I looked at how this link here was installed and whether or not it gave a straight pull. And by looking at the alignment and getting everything aligned straight so that the direction of the cable pull and the direction of this linkage and the direction of the carburetors, you know how the carburetors levers needed to be pulled, that helped greatly to get that all lined up. The last thing I did was this linkage right here. These holes were elongated and bad, and by going through all the linkage and finding the worn out linkage and replacing that, helped with the last of it. So that is how I dealt with the hard to pull choke on the TR3. I may at some point look at see if I can move that heater a little bit to get the cable pull straight out the rest of the way, but I'm happy with it the way it is. I've got both chokes working, and I am pushing my foot down on the throttle to relieve that the idle the cam from being on the resisting the choke pull. And here's a one-handed choke pull. I am happy. Anyway, if you found this helpful, please subscribe and like. It encourages me to spend more time on these. And also, if you know of anything else that you did to make your cable pull less strenuous, put it in the comments. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.